Okay, we're live now. Gentlemen, Gonerverse number 4.
Should we introduce ourselves at the beginning?
Is this for Paul's sake?
Doesn't know who we are. Watching.
Gerald Duchesne.
Cahill Lyons. Based in Miami, but I'm Irish.
I'm Dorian, and I'm based all the way down in Cornwall in the UK.
Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah, just down the road.
So let's start with not this last cup game, but the last weekend. Let's start with that game. Yeah.
What, the Everton game?
Yeah.
Where do you want to begin?
Long time ago, 4 days ago. So Everton are down a manager since then.
Yeah, well, I saw posting really Aaron Ramsey scores, a manager's killed. That's what happened. He killed his career. So his legacy continues.
See what he was saying in the press today as well, what Koeman was saying. He was saying
I missed it, I've been out.
His failure to sign Giroud was his downfall.
I'd read that a couple of weeks ago too.
Right.
I think it's fair.
An interview apparently. So I think that's tosh personally.
Well,
I think his overall inability alongside his board to sign anybody to replace Lukaku, frankly, and anybody to strengthen that front line has ended up costing him his job, hasn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of sitting beside an Evertonian fan, a really good mate, when we watched the game. And before it even started, he was like, he said, really, if we get beaten today, I hope you stick 3-4 against us. I hope you run us off the park. And he said the problems are a few for Koeman. One is he's never really had the dressing room. And apparently when they talk about Southampton, it's something similar, that he'd issues in with Southampton for some of his ex-players. But the Lukaku not replacing him was just ridiculous. I think you just said with anybody, you know. And you saw they were toothless. They didn't, running, much as we hate old Shrek. He can find the spaces. The man can score a goal. And if you get the ball to his feet, if you get the ball to him, he's even at 31, he's going to score goals. And he's always caused Arsenal trouble. If you ignore the goal that he scored,
all they do is put the grannies in the dugout behind the goal.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, was it Koeman's fault that they didn't sign anybody?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was. I think ultimately, whilst the manager is, in many clubs in the UK, not all of them, but still most of the clubs in the UK, whilst the manager sets strategy and picks the team, it's not really his checkbook, is it? Ultimately, it's down to the board, and it's down to a director of football if that exists. But whoever it is that's getting the money out and doing the deals, they've let him down as far as I'm concerned. They've left him short. I
agree with you.
Yeah. And what's going to happen for Everton with the Unzert who's now is doing it? In fairness, he a reasonable result last night, 2-1, but isn't he? He's got Leicester away, and then I think they're off to Lyon away. And that's what I was just saying to this guy, sort of saying, those are 3 freebies. Then he's got to do something, He needs to get a result in one of the games of some sort. But what's he going to do? What can he change to in that team right now? So, I mean, but if we talk more about Arsenal, it's not necessarily that we were brilliant. It's just we were given so much space. And Ozil was fantastic, just fantastic. If you can let the man breathe, and if you've got the players around him, and he had the players around him this time, it's Ramsey, I thought, played pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is the best I've seen Arsenal going forward in all season and part of last season as well.
I think,
but they were let.
The way they set themselves up and the way they played is perfect for this Arsenal team. Gave them a bunch of space. They didn't get in their faces, and they didn't try too much to try and get behind our defence. So, frankly, that's what you dream of as Arsene Wenger. That's the sort of setup you want to play against, because it allows you the space and time to play your tick-attacker football, or whatever it is. And I think Özil had a point to prove after some of the heat that he was getting from, particularly from the three of us. That must have really weighed on his mind.
I think I was forgiving to him.
Those three up front, Lacazette, Sanchez, and Ozil, they were magical.
Yeah,
they were magical.
But again,
will that happen every week?
No, because they're put under pressure. They get the ball. I mean, at one stage, the Lacazette goal, I mean, I could see it happening from midfield. I could see he was going to score. And I was turning to Keith saying, they're going to score here. Because you could see that ball coming down. The space around him that was open was just incredible. It was schoolboy stuff.
You could have crossed it to me in Cornwall and I'd have stuffed it.
Exactly. And so that was the problem. It was so obvious. It was so easy for them to find the space. And if you give them time on the ball, they're going to hurt you. And they did. And it was beautiful to watch. And God, if only we had Everton every day of the week for the rest of the year, it'd be great.
We'd be champions.
Yeah. Champions of Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. But there we go. I'll tell you what I'll do. Changing from that a little bit to the events of today. I don't know if you've seen the events of today as well in terms of the AGM.
No.
Yes, I saw.
Been out.
It's been stormy, to say the least, today.
Well, did you expect anything else, though? I mean, really?
No, I wouldn't. Absolutely. I think the club played it badly as well. Wenger was brilliant from what I've seen, but frankly, the rest of the club dead loss. The Cronkies released their statement in interview form to the Daily Telegraph before the AGM, and then Sir Chips Keswick basically refused to answer most of the questions that were put to him. Just sat there stony faced.
And also the minor shareholders voted them out.
They voted. Yeah, I heard they were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, protest vote. I mean, obviously, it doesn't count for shit, frankly, because
it's a statement. At least they're saying what the fans feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, Kroenke and his son must know what the fans feel. I mean,
I think. Well, clearly they don't give a flying doobrey for.
Yeah.
They really don't, and they've got plans to own the club for the long haul, which they've said themselves in the interview in the Telegraph.
Yeah.
And they still delusionally think that they're going to make a success of the club domestically and internationally as well. But
I don't think they believe that, though. I haven't seen this, but I just, when you hear them say it, I think the only person that truly believes that, for example, over the next, Wenger's here for 2 more years, so over the next 2 years, that thinks that we can actually win the Premiership is Wenger. I don't think the players believe it. I don't think they buy into it. I think they're comfortable. If you saw the Mertzacker interview after Troy Deeney when we were talking, and he's sort of saying, we don't listen to them. That's the problem. That is exactly the problem with them, the players. But to talk about the ownership, it's just a disaster. And I know, again, I was talking on Sunday with the Evertonians there. They were saying, well, I hope the changes come, and we hope that Usmanov is bought out and takes over Everton, because that's what we want, because we think it'll make a massive difference to our club. And it will. And it'll make a massive difference to our club, unfortunately.
Well, Kroenke also said today, I'm not going to relinquish my shares. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, when it comes to businessmen, if they get the right price, he'll be gone.
Do you think?
I think he would. If he got the right price, I think he would be gone.
I think he would. Yeah, it probably represents, if I remember correctly, when you look at the value of Arsenal, it represents somewhere like 35%, of maybe up as high as 40% of his entire holdings that he has. When you look at Rams and stuff like that, I don't know if that's the right number, but that's kind of what I've seen thrown about. It's a chunk of change. He could do things with that money if he was paid 25% over the current odds right now. The problem is that the club is becoming more valuable every year, and that in itself is adding value. I mean, he's already, tripled his money,
Well, the brand of Arsenal is absolutely worldwide now, and he had nothing to do with it.
No, absolutely. This was done before. He bought into this, and the thing is that the Premiership and world football has become so much bigger since he bought into it. And the new deals with Sky, BT, all Star Sports, all around, Fox even, they've all bought into it.
Yeah.
However, Arsenal will always make their chunk of change out of that, and they'll do quite well. But if the fans get upset and stop renewing their tickets, and I think that is an absolute possibility if we continue down this road and start dropping down 6, 7, 8 down to mid-table. I think you'll find it's one thing paying for tickets when you get the odd FA Cup. You pay a couple of £1,000 plus. Everybody knows when you throw in all the extra money you put into traveling to games and doing stuff, it's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
And so
I love to wax lyrical about the past like we all do, but I remember standing on the North Bank for £1, and I could whip out a tenner from my dad's wallet when he wasn't watching on a Saturday morning, get the train into town, get in, programme, burger on the way back, change from a tenner, no problem at all.
Yeah,
did you give him back the change?
He slipped it back into the wallet.
What do you think? If I was lucky, it might get me a cheeky pint or two on the way home as well.
There you go. It's amazing what you do when you're 11 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, and nowadays that tenner would just about buy you a pint in the ground. So
no. It's just a shocking. I know when I went, the last one was probably 3 years ago. I went to the Emirates thing, and I remember met a family of 4, and they reckon they dropped the guts of £2,000 for the 4 of them. When they added in they came across from somewhere in Wales, I forget exactly where. And when they added the tickets for the 2 days, when they added all the stuff, the kids wanted their outfits and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the starlet, our new starlet.
Edward. One of those things where you get your nuts cut in something. That's the surname. We're going to do it, Edward.
Constipation. Let's just call him
That's
constipation. Well, you watched the game, Cathal, so you have a better idea of how he played.
So what I had, by the way, I had it on the Arsenal, I was listening there, and they had it on here. They were showing it on it. So I saw bits and bobs. I mean, he got brought on. Initially they said, "Oh, goal after 35 seconds." I think they've revised this to less than 20 seconds when he scored, like 25 seconds, which makes him, of course, first Wenger's. He's the first player to score that was born before Wenger took over as a manager, born after Wenger. I'll tell you this. I've seen the goals a few times. My mother and I watched it last night. Actually, there was highlights on for like 20 minutes. He found space. He found space quickly. And not only that, for the heading goal, I don't know if you saw it, there was power in there for an 18-year-old. When they start putting much more muscle on this kid, he'll be great. Now, I've also seen these people saying, "Oh, play him against Swansea. That's just a little premature." And we know it's Wenger. It's never going to happen. We're going to go back to the old rival. And so we should. But he looks good. I don't know. I saw my brother posted. I didn't see the replies to it saying, "What was this stuff?" and pushing the guys out of the way. I don't know about the celebration. I'm not too sure what he was trying to say. Probably you should have picked me sooner. But he's 18 years old. I'm May 1999 or something like that. Was it March 1999? I forget, something like that.
He was a Chelsea reject as well.
Was he? Oh.
Yeah, we picked him up. Chelsea didn't sign him on professional terms, so we when they released him, we swifted in there and took him out straight away.
He's got potential. He does, as long as we don't screw it up. Make him too nice.
Yeah. Hope springs eternal.
You hit that defender too hard jumping in. Next time, just make sure you brush his hair first before you come in with the header. It's just, you'd worry what they do there. But he's got potential.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen, I think, from the club for quite a few years, a crop of good young players starting to come through. Joe Willock, you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, you've got or whatever it's pronounced.
I mean, look at the last couple of years. We've actually shipped them off. We've sold them on. Quite a few players didn't quite make it and got sold on to the Championship and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's true. And these guys
offensively assembled our British core, didn't we, a few years ago? 5 or 6 players, but some of which were internal, some of which were purchases from externally, like Ramsey. But it's the first time that it's starting to see more homegrown product coming through from that under 16, under 18 level into the team. You know, I haven't really seen that since Jack Wilshere.
But how do we work this guy into the team? You know,
tells Giroud to Everton.
But you know, this is his problem. He's down the pecking order. I mean, this is great experience. These cup games are great experience for him. There's a chance now with the Europa. It depends on how they want to treat it. If Wenger's going to put experience in there, he could see himself on the bench. You know, and I don't see why not. Let him, especially if we don't use some of our more experienced players. When we get to the business end of coming into December, we need our full squad. We've got to be resting the other players that they come into December, January, that they're fresher. Because I think a couple of weeks ago we were going on about how December and January is just going to be brutal for us. If I saw again since then, I've seen what you said, that we could find ourselves playing a couple of days apart. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 games in 8 or 9 days.
Getting shifted around a little bit.
Is that okay? Still
that much. So, I think that's going to be where you're going to see these players, isn't it, this year? Because, I mean, I'm mentioning those names a minute ago. We haven't even talked about Alex Iwobi and various other players like that as well that are in there that are at the sort of forefront of that group of players.
Yeah.
There's not often. There's almost a second reserve team, because you've got our first team, and then you've got that whole second string that are playing in matches like that, and then these youth players coming through as well. Club, even though they've shifted a few players on, it's still really, really deep in resource. It's almost over-resourced in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would call us over-resourced. Don't get me wrong, we've got some good players. I like Iwobi. I think he's a good player. He's got power in him, and I think over the next few years he's going to be the real future. And the likes of him.
He's really developed over the last 6 months. Really developed.
Calm head on him, plays well, finding passes much better. It's just his all-round game is just coming up and up. And certainly the coaching on him is good. If you consider that, they always say that, like, take the Ox, for example, he just couldn't break into the team, and he was thinking that he's played out of position and things like that. If we are bringing players like Iwobi in, the opportunities are there, However, I think we keep the likes of Walcott that, I mean, again, I don't know why he's persisted for so long. I think we should have sold him probably after that time. That time he scored against Spurs and it was 2-0. Should have sold him then.
I think selling the Ox to Liverpool has proved to be the right move. I mean,
a great bit of business in the end. Because he probably was never going to get into the team. He was, I mean, how many goals did he get? How many times was he playing? They think, God, Ox had a great game. At least you look at Iwobi. We've seen some games there said that player has played really well. The same for. I mean, I would shift Walcott as well. I just don't. I don't know what the infatuation with him is. I just don't get it.
And shift him. That's the problem. I think that's.
He never developed into a player. He won't get into the England squad by a million miles.
No, absolutely not. No chance now. And because this is a piss poor England team. Frankly, let's be honest about it. Absolute.
I'm always going to agree with that.
In that team, as individually, there's some good players, but not enough, and there's really very little quality in it at all.
Starting with the manager, as far as I'm concerned.
You can't argue with most of the results he's got. It's not been the toughest group on the planet, but still got the results. He's got the results, but when it comes to World Cup, the usual thing will happen. They'll be looking for his head after it because he go out to penalties of God knows against who. It'll be the usual pain that England suffers every time.
Clearly, Germany.
Well, of course, always going to be Germany. Without fail.
Kind of like Arsenal and Barcelona, isn't it? It's guaranteed that we'll be meeting one of them. So if we ever get back into the Champions League, more chance we'll be seeing them in the the Women's Champions League or the.
I think. Well, it's true. I think if you look at Arsenal this year and our potential Champions League, I think that's a much poorer Chelsea team. Liverpool don't look like they're going to be too much of a threat. Fortunately, we've got this usual Mourinho and his defensive-minded stuff. I think that when they played against Liverpool, and I only watched it after because I don't watch other teams. But only when I saw it finishing 0-0, I did watch the highlights to see what it was like. I think he's just too negative. He probably won't do that when they meets Arsenal, and I think it's still a little bit a while away before we meet them, because he knows that Arsenal's going to come at them, and he can sit back and hit us on the break pretty quickly without being too defensive. And that's how they hurt us every time, unfortunately.
You see City,
but
look at goal difference.
Sorry?
Look at City's goal difference, even this.
Was it? I'm City are. Look,
like plus 18 or something.
Yeah, they're looking good.
They got out of the gate. They got out of the gate on the inside rail. It's going to be hard to catch them.
They, let's see when they have some of the big games coming up. If Arsenal could turn them, if they've got to, they meet some of the bigger teams, and let's see how it all goes. But the reality is, they look too good. They look confident. They've got some of that bench is just ridiculous.
They'd have to drop their knickers on at least 4 or 5 games to lose.
They've done it before. They've done it before, and they go through things. He can hit the panic button. Things go wrong. He then tries to think it about, and you just need 3-4 poor results in a row. Christmas time is the teller. If they come out where they are today, the other side of Christmas, it's game, set, and match. However, Christmas can trip you up. Are they up for that crappy game to Stoke, and away, and those type of games where the teams put it up to you? If you look at the Wolves game, and I saw the highlights of the way they played against Wolves. Now, yes, they didn't have full team, and yes, they juggled it about, but there wasn't a massive amount of creativity in there. And they probably should have won it in the time, but it's Wolves, so they've got the potential. And they've got a lot of distractions out there that, they've got the Champions League as well. So they've got their fight on all fronts as well. Now they have the squad for it.
They've got to do that 4 or 5 times. They've got to fall over 4 or 5 times. Can you see that happening?
No, but you hope against hope. The thing is that doesn't really matter, because will it be Arsenal snapping on their heels, or will it be some team I don't want to mention who's looking too good? The reality is this. If it's not us winning the league, and I'm gonna stick my neck out here and say it's not going to be us, then I would prefer it to be City than pretty much any of the other teams. That's it. The lesser of the evils. I like a team that's aggressive.
That's so nice. Just ask me what.
Sorry, Alexa, turn off. That is a dog barked, and Alexa answered it.
They speak dog.
Obviously, yeah.
I was round with my wife earlier, and she started reading out the weather forecast.
Yeah, it's my new toy. I got it for free, so.
Yeah, I've got one as well. Yeah,
it understands an Irish accent, to be sure.
My missus might as well be silent. Cannot get his head round her accent at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mind you, it's been knocked together. I still wonder what she's saying after.
So I wanted to ask you guys one question. Do you think that this is a good time for Wenger to bring in Wilshere and take out Xhaka?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got to. I think that, and look at Wilshere's playing well. In every game he's put him out, he plays well. He still goes into those tackles. I was watching there. Oh God, I don't know. It was one of the games. I think it might have been. It was the Red Star Belgrade, and he seems to. The ball gets a bit ahead, and when he flies into a tackle, and the other guy is first to the ball, and it's just he's got to stop that. He's just got to stop it, because that's how he's going to get himself injured. But this is a quality player.
He is. I was very impressed with his comeback.
The goal and the Red Star Belgrade goal that was scored wouldn't have happened without him. And I'm not talking about when he hit it over to Walcott. I think he headed it over to Giroud. I'm talking before that. There was 3 players. The ball gets played to him, and he drags it back, and he leaves 3 players standing, and suddenly he's open. It was just a quality.
all the way from just on the edge of the centre circle in there. He made that goal. It wasn't.
Yeah. And he does it time and time again.
He does. The Norwich goal we all hark back to a few years ago. You know, I think there might be a Sunderland goal. It's incredible, his ability.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the reason that I say yes, he should drop Granit now, bring Wilshere in, is because for me, the problems we have with Jack are when he plays too many games in too short periods of time. He gets into that danger zone very, very quickly, gets injured, and they're big injuries. Right now, there are a fair amount of games, but it's not like it's going to be over Christmas. Stick in some games now, get what you need out of him, which is the vision, the quality, you know, the drive, the passion that maybe we've needed over the last few games. And then maybe give him a bit of a rest in the run up to Christmas or over Christmas. Put
exactly
in there
There's
for some less hardcore games.
There's no law saying you have to play him every single game. I know Wenger gets a team that he likes and he does try and stick with it. And it's clear that, you know, with Ramsey and, you know, when Ramsey, Sanchez, Ozil, I think when they play together, they look good. But Jack Wilshere will find space and find it. If he doesn't play him, you know, we've got Swansea. Are we home or away? I think we're home, are we? Yeah. I mean, that's when you've got to play him. You know, it's just play him in this game. It's perfect. Then what we might have Red Star Belgrade, I'm guessing midweek, more than likely we got something like that. Do we? I don't know. I didn't even check. I've been touchy shows are busy. Normally I know the next 5 fixtures in a row. I know we've got City coming up in the 5th of November, and I think then 2 weeks later we have the Spuds. Sure. I know that's in my mind. I've kind of looked ahead to those. But the next, maybe we've got internationals. We've got the internationals coming up, don't we? So there's probably gaps.
Can't wait for international football. It's such a joy.
Have you seen the friendly list that was put out? That they tried to reduce it down, and it seems like there's even more friendlies between now and the end of the year. Just useless games, just ridiculous.
There is no Cornwall team. So
listen, we pulled out. We got West Ham in the draw, right?
Yeah, we did at home.
Okay, I didn't know. I haven't. Again, I've been out. I haven't seen. Okay, West Ham.
Yeah,
we would have faced Spurs. Thank God, it's West Ham. It was glorious. My mother wanted to watch it, so at 2-0 down, I came in and I put the game on for her, and I wasn't really watching it. I was kind of working. And then there's a goal, and I turned to her and says, "Okay, I'll watch it a bit. I'll watch." Then it's 2-2, and it's like, "Come on!" Oh, my heart! I was blowing bubbles yesterday. It was a joy to watch, and it shows you that you can get it. You can get it. Spurs, you know, they're having a good run at the moment, but
you've got to isolate Harry Kane.
Yeah, but you see, a problem is you have both Son and Ali on either side of him, and they're both quality. That guy Son is underrated, I think. You know, they're good. What you have to do is they're fit. They're really, really fit, and they're fast and they're up and down. You have to be able to keep up with that.
Did you see Son at the weekend against Liverpool? My God, it was unstoppable.
Oh yeah, it was. Not a game I'm going to be watching.
So I watched that match because I knew it was going to be a corker, and it was. But I'll tell you, one of the other weaknesses Spurs have got is Ali. If you can niggle him, he loses it.
Yeah.
He's got a really suspect temperament.
Yeah. I think
I reckon it's
if in the game when we get him, it's not my phone. Mine's on silent, so it's definitely not my phone.
And his supermarket lager.
Are they? Dele Alli, you can definitely get at him, and I would like to see the matchup of Chambers against him, because Chambers has proved it when he did with Costa. He's proved he's got it in him. Where I don't think that Koscielny doesn't have it in him, and of course, you know, the question is who will we have back from injury? Who will actually be facing?
Chambers.
I know we're looking.
Do you mean Chambers or Holding?
Holding, I mean.
Yeah. When he wound up.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It's just, this is what we've got to start looking at things like this, and I know it's 3 weeks away or something, but still, I start to get nervous already, I dread them. I don't mind right after if we've not been beaten, but the run up to it. I don't mind going out playing City, as long as we put up a good fight. I mean, as we can accept that's just a quality team. If they beat us, it doesn't hurt as much, unless, of course, if it's a 4-0 drubbing because we decide to, tip-tap around them.
At home.
At home.
It's funny. Do you know what? The two teams I really hate losing to are Man U, and Chelsea. Spurs.
No, I hate losing to Spurs. I have too many spud mates.
They've been so good for the last couple of years, it's true. But before that, they really were just...
Yeah, it's true. And, on those dirty, rotten spuds, I'm thinking if we can get them another year without actually winning anything and keep them, then he's going to have much more trouble hanging on to the likes of Son, Ali, and Kane. I think Kane's, there's no way he's going to get to next year without Real Madrid or Barcelona coming in and saying, and I think Real Madrid would be suited to Real Madrid.
I think, who he'd be suited for is Bayern.
Oh,
another team. Yeah.
It's going to take a long time for them to be able to work out how to make that list work in Spanish, though.
Yeah. Bale will be coming back anyhow. That's all. No prediction says, and he's prone to injury. I think Mourinho loves him, but he's injury prone, that player. So, anyhow.
What about Mourinho and Ozil? Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't know. I think that you're dealing with a player that's just, I'm not sure they had any love for each other when they played in Real Madrid. It was never a love fest. And I'm sure that Ozil will remember that. And he does like Wenger. I think that there's, I saw some article in one of the papers saying he was either tripping up because he wants number 10. And what a little rubbish. A player's going to go because of the cash and trophies.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's it. But Ozil also has seen the Mourinho meltdown in Chelsea, and he knows that they're capable of doing that, no different than Arsenal. So I'm not sure that he would be if he was going anywhere, it would be to somewhere like City, and City don't have room for him right now. Although he's the type of player, the style.
They don't have room for Sanchez either, but it doesn't mean that they're not trying to.
No, that's true.
Into their favour.
Sanchez, they could fit him in though. Sanchez, they could have. They would have been a significantly better team with Sanchez, but would they have been a significantly better team with Ozil? I'm not sure because they've already got that. I mean, De Bruyne is playing just the best he's ever played.
David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne.
Silva, yeah. They've got that creativity, whereas, look at Sterling could have been out the door. Sanchez would have taken his place. Nobody would have noticed. The team is making Sterling look good.
Yeah. They've got that Turkish guy. Is it Gundogan or whatever his name is? It's an embarrassment of riches, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. They've got the money. Yeah. Could have been us if it was man off. But, no point in crying over spilled rubles.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we've come to that time again.
Yeah.
Roll on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a flipping 10 a.m. game, isn't it, as well? Oh, 10 a.m. for me, 3 p.m.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll have it here. We'll get it here. I don't know. You guys won't see it. You'll have to watch me.
Can't I just hack into your system?
I'm sure you can. I'll just hold my phone up like here to my laptop and you can watch it. There you go.
Dorian, it's incredible the amount of stations that I could watch football all weekend. The Bundesliga, Spain, Italy. It's just broken loose now,
Yeah.
Well, there's none of that here, so I can probably 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Can probably watch greyhound racing from Doncaster.
You need Jeremy Corbyn in. That's what happens. Get Jeremy in. He'll pass a law. Read immediately the socialist law. Arsenal on BBC 24/7.
What's that greyhound track in North London? There's a
there used to be Wembley. There was Walthamstow out in East
few.
London.
That's it, Walthamstow. If it's Saturday, it's Walthamstow.
Yeah, awesome times. So some unique characters at greyhound races.
The salt of the earth.
Yeah. Definitely rock salt.
I've never been to a greyhound race. Imagine that.
Have you not? Oh, you've missed out. It's kind of like horse racing, but without the class.
Okay. Yeah. Horse racing I've been. I used to live 2 miles away from Leopardstown, so.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we climb under the fence or over the wall. I never paid in. I think only once. And the last time I was there, we met Liam Brady.
Really?
At Leopardstown. He was at Leopardstown, yeah.
How long
I
ago?
blew kisses at him. Liam, I love you. Oh, if only get knocked 40 years off that man. Put him back out there. Quality.
Tell me about it. Absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah.
Cultured. Right, guys.
And he's still on RTE TV. He's on Irish TV, so we get him all the time.
The first Arsenal game I went to, I saw Liam Brady play.
Oh, God. What a player.
Bit past his time, but I used to love a bit of David O'Leary.
Oh, yeah.
What a player.
Yeah, another great Arsenal player. I have a book at home somewhere, The Green Gunners. It's all about all of those players.
Yeah. Where is he these days? I haven't seen him on TV for a few years, actually.
I don't know. I've not seen or heard anything, yeah. No, that's something I'll Google before. The next time we talk, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Excellent.
All right, well, let's call this a day then.
Yeah.
Great.
Right, enjoy the match and talk.
Till after the next win, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, gentlemen.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck.